What's up? Welcome into your Buckeye Rush Hour for a pre-Thanksgiving hump day. It is Wednesday, November 22nd, 2023. Welcome in, everybody. We're going to get to your comments and your questions and your get your scores in, all that good stuff. Reminder, we will be going live on Friday, so make sure you're here. Same time, 4:30. Let's see what we got going on here. Today we're talking Buckeye defense versus Michigan offense. Where's the advantage? Where are the holes? Where can the Buckeyes take advantage of these cheaters? Also, I do want to remind everybody to join our squares pool for the game. $10 a square. It's a board, you get two numbers for each team. So you get to double your pleasure there. Payout is every quarter and the final. So 5 payouts of $50 each. Numbers will be drawn randomly for the squares, and either when the board's full or at game time, whichever comes first. So just send $10 to me with your name, and I'll drop it in the board. All the info you need is in the show description below. So check out the description underneath. And hey, while you're there, hit that thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Helps everybody else find our content. So today we're getting into this Michigan offense, Buckeye defense, and how they match up. So we know Michigan, they're a run-heavy team, have been for a few years now, and it's basically a 60-40 run to pass ratio. 60% of the time they're running the ball. Sounds kind of boring, doesn't it? Got a sip of Eagle Rare. Yeah, got to start off this pre-Thanksgiving, right? All right, so let's get into it. We're talking. So let's start with our running backs versus our defense. Let's go by yardage here. Let's start off with Blake Corum leading the way, 888 yards on the season. It doesn't sound like a lot for a guy that gets a ton of carries. He has 180 carries on the season, a 4.9 average, 20 TDs though. He really punches it in down there close to the goal line. Coming in second in yardage, Donovan Edwards, 323 yards, only 3 touchdowns, just a 3.4 average. And Kalel Mullings only has 180 yards on the season and a touchdown. So Blake Corum obviously is your bell cow. They use the shit out of this guy. I don't know how he's still running. But looking at his forced missed tackles, leads the team there as well, 19 on the season. That's really good. Only has a 2.57 yards after contact. That's not outstanding when you look at some of the other guys across the country, but he does force some missed tackles, and he's okay in breakaways. Like he has 9 carries over 15 yards, only 18 over 10 yards. So he's gonna lead the way for them. Let's check out his numbers. Now, the last 2 weeks they've really burned him up, in my opinion. They did this last year leading into the Ohio State game. Remember, he got injured in the Illinois game the week prior. Well, last week, this against Maryland, they just ran him 28 times, just 94 yards. And then against Penn State, 26 times for 145. Obviously, they didn't throw the ball at all in the second half, so he got basically every play went to Corum. Purdue 15 before that, Michigan State 15 before that. He had a few weeks where he didn't have as many, but against Rutgers he had 21. So again, the yards after contact, though, is where you start to lose some of that. When you're carrying the ball that much, you're not going to break too many freaking tackles. His yards after contact average against Maryland last week, 1.82. You're basically just falling forward for that after you get hit. Penn State, a 1.69, same thing. So he's not a big yards after contact guy, but he is strong as shit. Let's see. Let's talk about their run blocking grades here. So their tight end, AJ Barner, is actually their best run blocker in the O-line. Zach Zinter, double Z, he's a 79 on the season. Bredesen, the fullback, he's a 78 run blocking. Drake Nugent, the center, is a 76.9. But then you got to come down here to Carson Barnhart. He's a 68. So when you're starting getting around those 60s, that's where things get a little flimsy. Miles Hinton, 67. We'll see what's up with the injury situation. They had to shuffle some guys around. Barnhart had to fill in and slide over to the other tackle position. So we'll see who's playing at their tackles. But Trente Jones, if he's in, he's only a 62.7. Trevor Keegan, a 63.5. He's the guard. So this is not your typical high-end Michigan O-line. We saw it last week and the week before against Penn State. Against Maryland, that was a tight one, right? They gave up some serious hold on. Yeah, they had a rough go of it last week. As a team against Penn State in pass blocking, they were a 20.5. That's why they didn't throw the ball in the second half, because they couldn't block it. Against Maryland, they were a 68.9, so okay. But then run blocking against Penn State, they were only a 65. Even though they ran the ball a lot in that second half against Penn State, they weren't super successful. They weren't going up and down the field on Penn State, So that's why the lower grade there. So let's talk Buckeyes and this defense going up against this running offense. 55 tackles, Tommy Eichenberg leading the way, and has only 6 misses, 31 stops. Those are where you stop the running back or the other team for little to no gain. All right. Like 2 yards or less. So Eichenberg obviously leading the way, and he's missed the last 2 weeks. But he does it all. And then you got Steele Chambers with 48 tackles, 25 assists, 6 misses as well, but he's got 26 stops. Igbenogson, the third leading tackler on a team with 46, does have 4 misses. Jordan Hancock coming in, getting physical, helping with the run support from that slot position. He's got 31 tackles, 7 misses. Does have 2 forced fumbles, though, 10 stops. Cody Simon, who was filling in for Tommy the last couple of weeks, 31 tackles, 22 stops. And then you got Proctor coming in with 30 tackles. Tyleek is up there, 26 tackles, 26 stops. So we got guys that are filling their gaps in the run game. The big dudes up front are holding their guys up. Then the linebackers are coming in, filling the gaps. You got Sonny Styles coming downhill. Occasionally you got Proctor coming downhill, Hancock. Everybody is chipping in this run support on defense. So not a lot of missed tackles. That's a good sign. Let's look at the JJ. But yeah, let's go to the passing game here and see what JJ's got. We'll switch over to the passing game. All right, so on the season, JJ's got 2,300 yards, about a 9.9 yards per attempt, only 18 touchdowns, 4 picks. Did have a really bad pick against Maryland last week, but his grades are not great. He had a 47 last week. Remember, 60 is average in the PFF grades. A 47 against Maryland, 56 against Penn State. He has good grades against shitty teams like Purdue, 84, Michigan State, 90. But against Rutgers, 64. Bowling Green, he had 3 picks. He graded out a 40. So in games where you can't really put the game on JJ's shoulders, in my opinion. His attempts, 23 attempts against Maryland, 12 completions. That's a 52% completion percentage. That's horrific. No touchdowns, the 1 pick I mentioned. Against Penn State, we mentioned they didn't throw it at all in the second half. 7 of 8 for the game. It's a nice completion percentage, but you only have 60 yards passing. That's not going to get it done. And then, we mentioned the Bowling Green game. The rest of the time, he's good. He's like over 70% most games. But lately, his last couple of weeks, he's really been struggling. And he doesn't have too many drops. I mean, he's got 15 by his receivers on the year. Kyle has about the same. Now, he's made 4 turnover-worthy throws against Maryland. So he's just not getting it done there, and he's putting the ball in harm's way. He does have 13 sacks on the season. He was sacked 4 times against Indiana in week 7. 3 times against Penn State or against Purdue. He was sacked 3 times. Once against Penn State, once against Maryland. I think he's dinged up and he's got a bad ankle or something, because he's not looking as mobile back there and seeming as willing to take off with the ball when he's getting pressure. So that seems like an issue. The Buckeyes probably could take advantage of that, right? So let's look at should we go receivers? Yeah, let's look at Buckeyes pass coverage first. So the Buckeyes leading the way with the most targets in coverage. Davison Igbinosun's targeted the most by almost double anybody else on the team. 67 targets, 35 receptions he's allowed, so a little over 50% there. And he's averaged a 9.5 yards per reception allowed. He has allowed 5 touchdowns as well. He does have 3 pass breakups and no picks. He's also the most penalized by a ton. He has 6 penalties. The next person has 2. Denzel Burke has 2. So everybody's going after Igbinosun. They know that if they don't complete it, they might get a penalty. It's a very good chance. So he's kind of the guy everybody's coming after, right? Now, you got Denzel Burke, 39 targets, 19 receptions allowed. That's under 50%, 12.3 yard average. Does have 1 pick, 7 PBUs, has not allowed a touchdown all year. Hancock in the slot, he has 39 targets as well, 19 completions, under 50% completion percentage, 11.6 yards per catch, and has allowed 1 touchdown, has 2 picks and 2 PBUs. So again, Hancock, Burke, solid. As far as penalties go, they both have 2, by the way. Igbinosun with the 6. So you can see where teams are going to try to attack. It really depends on where they line up. The Buckeyes usually have, they run field side or boundary side corners. They don't switch on and off or travel and follow around a receiver. So where you get into some trouble here, and this is typical for most defenses and most linebackers, is when Steel Chambers gets in coverage. He allows a catch 80% of the time. Has not allowed a touchdown, and he does have a pick, 8 and 5 PBUs, but teams are targeting him in the pass game. Usually, obviously, it's a running back or a tight end. So he can get schemed up, and his guy can get open occasionally. Proctor, 27 targets, 12 catches allowed. That's almost 44% and 8.1 yards per reception average there. And that's it. Jermaine Matthews is the only other guy in the defense that's allowed a touchdown. So just 3 guys have allowed touchdowns. So let's check out the receivers here for Michigan. One second. Okay. So Roman Wilson leads the team. Hold on. Sip of some Eagle. Roman Wilson leads this receiving corps, 612 yards, a 16.5 yard average, 10 touchdowns. He's really come on this year. Cornelius Johnson, 470 yards, 16.2 average, 1 touchdown. Colston Loveland, the tight end, 462 yards, a 14.4 yard average, 4 touchdowns. So those are your leaders. As far as targets go, Roman has 49, Colston Loveland 44, Cornelius Johnson 42. Then Donovan Edwards, I don't know why they decided to turn him into a receiver this year and use him as a slot, but that's what they did. And he's done a little bit. I mean, he hasn't scored as a receiver. He's got 27 targets on the year. It's not very much in 11 games, right? He does have 24 catches, but a 9.4 yard average, no TDs. So let's check out their drops. Cornelius Johnson leading the way with 4, Colston Loveland with 4, and then Donovan Edwards with 2 drops. So something to keep your eye on there. And yards after catch, Donovan Edwards is a threat there with 7.7 yak yards. And Barner, Loveland, those guys are around 4.5 yards. So Cornelius Johnson, not a big threat in the yak yardage, and same with Roman Wilson. They're about 3.6 and 3.7. So not a big deal there. That tells me that they aren't wide ass open running through a secondary. The DB is usually right in phase with them, and the receiver makes a catch, gets tackled for 3 additional yards. So not a big deal to me. I think our pass defense has a major advantage when it comes to covering these receivers and getting pressure on JJ along this offensive line. What else? Oh, pass blocking for the Michigan O-line. Center, Drake Nugent, an 80 in pass blocking. Trente Jones, if he plays, he's a 79.9 pass blocking. Again, we have these injuries going on. We haven't gotten any updates yet. Who else here? The fullback, Bredesen, is a 77.8. So that guy does it all in blocking. Trevor Keegan, the guard, 76.7. And Miles Hinton, a 74.7. And Loveland is a 68.6. So not great in pass blocking, but he's usually out running routes anyways. The weak spot you got here is Ladarius Henderson, number 73. He's a 62 on the year in pass blocking. And then you got Carson Barnhart, number 52. He slid over to the other tackle position this past week with the injuries. But he's only grading a 50 on the season. And he's played the entire year. Blake Corum's really bad at pass pro, and Donovan Edwards is even worse, 46 and a 34. Yikes. So Barnhart is your weakest link, number 52 at tackle. He's allowed 3 sacks. I know it's not a lot, but hey, Donovan Edwards has allowed 2. Pressures, Barnhart's allowed 21, by far the leader on the team. Ladarius Henderson, number 73, is allowed 14. Trevor Keegan, the guard, allowed 8. Miles Hinton, the other tackle, allowed 7. Edwards, 5. So it looks like if Donovan Edwards is in there, go at him, blitz his ass, because he's not going to be able to stop you. And hits on the quarterback, Barnhart again, Ladarius Henderson, Edwards, Miles Hinton, Trevor Keegan. These guys are all allowing hits on the quarterback. So Buckeyes getting pressure. Total pressures, JT Tuimoloau getting 32 on the year, 32 pressures, 4 sacks. Jack Sawyer right behind him with 27 pressures, 4 sacks. He's gotten 8 hits on the quarterback, 15 hurries. JT's had 25 hurries. That's excessive. Michael Hall in limited action. He hasn't even played. What's he played here? Against the pass, he's only played 192 snaps. Jack and JT are up over 239, 289. So Michael Hall still got 23 pressures, a couple sacks. Tyleek, 20 pressures, 2 sacks. And then you got Caden Curry chipping in with 11 pressures and a sack. Eichenberg, 11 pressures and a sack. And Kenyatta Jackson, 10 pressures and a couple sacks. So everybody is chipping in along this defensive front, 4 plus 2 linebackers, except Steel Chambers doesn't really get in the action in the backfield much. So Sonny Styles, just to point him out, 5 pressures, 2 sacks, and a hit on the quarterback. So you might see more of him this week coming on a blitz on the edge or up through a gap. We'll see. So again, I think judging by those grades and the number of pressures this Buckeye team has gotten, they definitely have the advantage against this Michigan pass rush. It's really about stopping the run when it comes down to the Buckeye defense versus this Michigan offense. Stop the run, make JJ beat you with his arm. I don't think he can do it. I don't think their receivers can get open. I don't think they can protect JJ. That's my opinion. So let's go to the chat, see what's happening. Oh, we got some new faces in here. What's up, T-Spivey? Got a brew? Here's to you. Hey, Chris. I.O. to you. Jeremiah says, hey there, Joe. Another day closer to the Buckeyes beating those bastards in their toilet bowl. Go Buckeyes. That's right. Odysseus says, if you're traveling to the whore, Michigan, remember, it's north till you smell it and west till you step in it. Exactly. Odysseus says Tyleek should wreck their rushing game. That's what I think. I think he's going to be a big problem in the run game and pass game. Odysseus says Beavis doesn't know the plays, right? Frank says, happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and go Bucks. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Steve says, saying to you, Frank, and all except cheating trolls, what I have to say can't be said in 200 characters, so go Bucks. Very good, Steve. Short and to the point. Odysseus says, this is by far the best pass defense the cheaters up north have had to face. I agree. Steve says, we will stop the Gnome and they will have 0 offense. I am very confident the Bucks win by at least 10. Wow, I like it. Give me a score prediction, Steve. I'll log it for the t-shirt contest. You can win a free t-shirt if you nail it. Steve says Silver Bullets dominate. OHIO. Sonny, JT, Jack, Trey, MHJ, EE, Cade. We win going away. I love it. Love it. Odysseus says, get Mike Hall matched up with Barnhart, one-on-one speed rush. Yeah. Well, Barnhart's probably going to be playing tackle, so Jack and JT can both take advantage of that situation, I think. All right, what else we got here? Steve says, Tommy E, Tyleek, some badass boys. That's right. You know, Tommy's going to be chomping at the bit to come in and wreck shop. He wanted to play last week against freaking Minnesota senior day, man. So Tommy is gonna hit it hard. He might kill a dude. I don't even know. Steve says, Joe's a good guy and deserves more than 11 people watching. Hit the thumbs up. Give some help. Thank you, Steve. You have cracked the algorithm. Good job. And I appreciate the compliments. All right, Steve, I got your score. 24-14, says Steve. Got a whole bunch of scores here. I will add that to the pile. Don't forget, folks, you can join the squares board for the game. Got people joining every day. And we've got like 8 squares taken up, so there's plenty of room. It will probably fill up by Friday, though. Pam says, happy Thanksgiving. I just hate we are without Ransom. I just pray we can get this one done. We can't let these cheaters win. Go Bucks. I'm a firm believer in karma. I don't know about you guys. I'm not a super spiritual guy, but I do believe in karma. And what I mean by that is what comes around goes around. So cheating, lying, breaking the rules, circumventing the rules, stepping over the boundaries of the rules. Harbaugh has done multiple times this and been suspended for multiple offenses, multiple infractions this year. So yeah, I got no time for it. So what I mean by karma is it comes around and goes around. Harbaugh and the cheaters are going to get theirs. It's on us. I feel that we, as the Buckeye Nation and the football team, should enact some form of justice on that field and really just rub their nose in it, beat the fuck out of them and rub their nose in it, you know, and have no remorse. Oh, that's good. Odysseus says, hopefully Tommy takes out Beavis. I got no problem with that. Very easily could happen. Christopher, how you doing, Christopher? He has 31-17. It's close for 3 quarters. Then the Bucks get a late touchdown to put them away. I like that. How about the prediction we had the other day? Was it yesterday or Monday? I forget. I'm going live every day. It makes me nuts. How about number 17 for a punt block and a touchdown? Carnell Tate. Channeling his inner Chris Olave. Number 17 gets a punt block, then gets a touchdown, passing, receiving, whatever. I got your score, Christopher. 31-17. We go by total points for the t-shirt contest, so closest to the number nails it. Gets a free t-shirt. That's right, Steve. Karma is a bitch, and we'll bitch slap the skunk weasels. Go Bucks. That's right. Skunk weasels. Yeah, I agree with you, Odysseus. He says, I bet Petiti hopes for karma on Saturday as well. Yeah. Yeah, Petiti does not want to hand a trophy to Jim Harbaugh or anybody from Michigan the following week at the Big Ten Championship on stage in front of the world. He does not want to hand that silver ball to Harbaugh or Sharon Moore or any other of those cocksuckers. Thank you, Christopher. Happy Thanksgiving to you. I appreciate you jumping into the chat. We got our viewers are ramping up here a bit. We got some people piling in. Hit the likes, as always. I appreciate that. We'll be back live on Friday at 4:30. Just wanted to remind everybody, if you're just hanging out, probably be some games on, actually. Let's see. Well, Thursday night on Thanksgiving, you got Ole Miss, Mississippi State, the Egg Bowl. Then Friday, you got TCU, Oklahoma. I don't know why we should care about that. That's at noon. Then noon Friday, you also got Iowa and at Nebraska. Again, not a game worth caring about. You got UTSA at Tulane, Missouri, Arkansas. Missouri still hanging around in those CFP rankings, right? How are they number 9? That seems odd. Maybe they'll move up some spots if they beat Arkansas, a 4-7 team. Then you got Texas Tech and Texas at 7:30. That's going to have some playoff implications. Texas favored by 12.5 right now. Where's that? That's at Texas. Okay. Then you got Penn State, Michigan State. not really any playoff implications. It might help our resume if Penn State continues to win or wins this game anyway. They're favored by 21. The game I'm going to watch is the 8:30 game, Oregon State at Oregon. Oregon favored by 14 at home. I'm taking Oregon State with those 14 points. DJU is going to put that team on his back. And I think what could have been for DJU had he not gone to Clemson. Man, that dude's a stud, man. He just takes that team on his back and he's like, just takes off with the ball, you know. He makes plays. He's a playmaker. And he's a big son of a bitch. Pam says, I was reading some of their comments today. They seem to think they are going to wear out our defense in the second half. Yeah, I wouldn't bank on that. Yeah, is there an NFL game on Friday? I didn't know that. I don't really watch the NFL anymore. Odysseus says TCUN fans thought this game was going to be a gimme back in April. Yeah. Yeah, I got the Buckeyes +6 before the season started. I'm taking that. And I got them +3 back in April. So I got 2 tickets on that. Love the Buckeyes as an underdog. If you want to piss off the Buckeyes and lose money, make them the underdog and put money on Michigan. Man, there's nothing like telling your team that they suck and they're going to lose. Herb did it classically all the time at Florida, at Ohio State. He loved those headlines. He even made up headlines when he was at Florida. He loves a pissed off team. Yeah, Odysseus says that's my point. Mizzou is there to improve Georgia's resume, and it's a crock of shit. They do it every year. You know, I'm surprised Kentucky is not ranked still. You know, it's so annoying. Odysseus says Oregon State wins, then Oregon beats Washington. No Pac-12 in playoff. I think that's a legit chance of happening. I think that could happen, man. For real. I would not be a bit surprised. I feel really good about Oregon State, especially at +14, but even just winning outright. I know it's in Seattle, but still, if it rains, it rains. It doesn't matter where the hell it's at. And then Oregon versus Washington. Yeah. It's really hard to beat a team twice in the same season. Really hard. Yeah, I agree, Odysseus. Day needs to channel everything he learned from Urban. I would like to know who they bring in for like pregame speeches. They'll be having speeches from guys that are local in Columbus, former players. You know, Tress might make the drive over from Youngstown, and they'll do some talks around practice and stuff behind closed doors. I'd really like to know who's giving those speeches, especially the pregame speech the day of. You know, I'd really like to know who's doing that. But it's always going to be somebody good. You know, they always bring out the classics. You know, the greats, the greatest players. So will be interesting to see who talks to the team. I got to think that Tress will talk to him this week before Saturday, before they leave. So it's going to be a good one. Going to be a good one. You know, Herb will probably stop by and talk to the team. I'm sure his ID card still works. You know. So what else is happening? Not a lot of great games on Saturday other than the Buckeye game. Alabama, Auburn, they're going to roll pretty easy. They're favored by 14.5. Arizona State. Arizona's favored by 10.5. They're doing pretty well this year. Arizona State's 3-8. I don't care about BYU, Oklahoma State. Here's another one, Odysseus. Tennessee ranked 21st. Still ranked. And they'll probably move up because they play Vanderbilt this weekend. They'll beat them. Washington State. Washington favored by 16.5. Yeah, probably. Don't care. Florida State, Florida. That's going to be something to pay attention to, how Florida State does with a backup quarterback. Is this kid good? Can he move the offense efficiently or at all? Do they go to a running game, and not even put the ball in his hands? You got Notre Dame, Stanford, Georgia Tech, Clemson, South Carolina. Don't care about those hillbillies. Iowa State, K-State, North Carolina, NC State. Yeah, a lot of blah, a lot of cardboard. Yeah, I got a really good feeling with Ryan Day in this Michigan game. I think he's learned a lot. And you definitely learn from back-to-back losses. I can't put together how this Michigan team wins 3 in a row. I can't see it. But yeah, Pam says, hope Ryan Day is aggressive like Georgia game last year. And yeah, Steve agrees. We need to start fast and keep the aggression the entire game. That's exactly it. Yeah. What else you guys want to talk about? Anything else? Seeing a lot of more weird shit about this cheating scandal coming out of Michigan. They're all over the map. Yeah. Again, Ryan Day has hired a private investigation firm from New Hampshire. We're still on that. Yeah. Yeah, Pam. We do have some crystal balls for, I like to call them GVS, Gabe Van Sickle. We got 2 crystal balls, well, 3 crystal balls by Bill Kurlick, Alan True, and Steve Wiltfong for Gabe Van Sickle to Ohio State. So he is the current Northwestern commit. He's a 3-star out of Coopersville, Michigan. He's a 8814 composite, nationally ranked number 613, interior O lineman, number 41 at that position. I don't have any idea where Coopersville is, but 6'5", 283. Okay. We're kind of running out of dudes to offer for this 2024 class, so we kind of got to take him, right? We need warm bodies. Yeah, Steve, I agree. I hope the O-line is up to the task. They don't cheat, they don't win, period. Exactly. Yep. Odysseus, weirdest thing is selling used vacuums. Yeah. Are they supposed to suck? Or is it bad if they don't suck? That's my question. January 6th, Van Sickle announces. Okay, that sounds good. Badass Buckeye, how you been? I haven't seen you in a bit. Bad premium vacuums for $99. Odysseus says the Big Ten should inspect all TCUN staff tech on the sidelines and in the booth. Yeah, you could have somebody up there in the booth running their algorithm. Okay, it's this down and distance, 3rd and 8. They always do this, and then relay it down. Yakov, how's it been? How you been? It's good to see you. The Michigan AD liked a tweet about going independent. Go right ahead. They should start a conference with Notre Dame. The arrogant assholes. Steve says, weirdest thing is thinking about your mom in a bikini or a one piece. I know. There are some quotes. I understand it's from Ted Lasso, but maybe, you don't say that in public in front of a bunch of cameras and shit when you're in front of a microphone. Maybe that's one of the quotes you don't say, maybe you just keep that inside in your head movies. Fucking Harbaugh. Why do they have to be so weird? I keep asking myself this. I ask you guys like all the time too. They do everything the weirdest possible way. Doesn't matter what it is. They just fucking find a weird way to make it weird. It's really weird. A shot went right to my head. Odysseus says, let them go, they'll wither and die as an independent. Exactly. Yep. Steve says they suck like a Michigan cheerleader. Brass 735, what's up? Welcome to the show. Is there a better place in Ann Arbor to put the suck back in anything? They do a pretty good job on their own, like especially the cheerleaders apparently. But yeah. That's a good point, Yakov. Why is there no Michigan media members asking about this LLC, asking Blake Corum, are you guys going to sue this Stallions guy? Are you going to file charges? Something. Yakov says it is a felony to add someone's name to your LLC without their consent. You would think Blake Corum would want charges filed, not just laugh it off. Black corn. I'm going to save that one. That's a good one. I know what you meant, though. Odysseus says they're too close to Canada. Yeah, they are. Steve says the best quote I heard about talking to a Michigan fan is, you don't ask who made the monster when your last name is Frankenstein. Loved it. That's a good point. That's a good line. DCUN, Odysseus says, has never has to mow the outhouse. They have their cheerleaders for that. Yeah. Oh, I had a good one. It's joking time, right? All right, let me see if I can share this with you. It's a visual joke. Hopefully you can see this. Scientists have finally developed a glass which won't leave any rings on your table. It's a Michigan shot glass for those listening on podcasts. Classic. And then this one's pretty good too. Share it. $50 says the Harbaugh kid eats it. It's Harbaugh picking his nose and then putting it in his mouth. It's so disgusting. Yeah. Again, weirdest freaking people ever. And he's their leader. Yikes. We can take a call if anybody wants to call in. Take a call. We got the phone number should be down in the description below. It might be near the bottom. And well, I was just checking out the squares board for the game. Got some openings there. If anybody wants to hop in, $50, easy way to win $50. 10 gets you 50. I know, Yakov. I like the talk to text version of it. Pam says, hope Ryan has some surprises up his sleeve. I think you'll see some wrinkles. I don't know if you're going to see any crazy new plays like fresh out of the box, never used before, but you might see some wrinkles off of like common formations that we use, or maybe an end around off of a counter play. I don't think you're going to see like some dipsy-do double flea flicker kind of stuff, but there you will see some new stuff, I think. A few. Not a lot. I know, Yakov. It is weird to publicly talk about your mom wearing a swimsuit. Might be even worse considering his mom is almost 90 years old. Yeah. Again, just keep it inside in your brain. Like, find another quote. You can't find anything different than that. Yeah, I know, Yakov. You're good. You're good. So what else? Kind of out of content for today. I gotta come up with a bunch for Friday. I think Friday, Jeff is gonna come on, supposedly, possibly Sean, and we'll definitely take some calls too on Friday. I want to get your guys' feedback. Yeah, I like that, Odysseus. The split backs. They did that with Trey and Chip the last couple of weeks. They were on both sides of Kyle in the backfield in the shotgun. So yeah, bring in Hayden and Henderson. I like that. You can do a lot of things off of that. You could run a toss to either side, depending on where the defense lines up and which sign they think they stole. You know, so you could go either way: toss left, toss right. Run them both out in like run a screen on one side, run a wheel route on the other. Yeah, there's a lot you could do with the split backs. Hayden's got good hands out of the backfield, just like Trey. So I can definitely see that working for me. Yeah, yeah. They've been slowly, quietly showing some new wrinkles and formations and some plays off of plays. You know, there's definitely a lot for the Michigan defense to look at on film. So hopefully everything is successful. But yeah. Yeah, exactly. Have Stover fake a block and go out for a pass. I'm fine with that. Sure. Yep, he does that occasionally. We really need the tight ends to focus on the run blocking. They need to be stout in this game. They gotta be stronger. Cade hasn't been fantastic against the or in the run blocking, I should say. Let me pull that up real quick. Cade. Oh, pass blocking. Run blocking. Yeah. Cade is averaged on the season is a 58.6 grade. That's terrible. His best game was Western Kentucky and then Notre Dame, 75.8 and an 81. But he never gets up over 60. Purdue, he was at a 61. But other than that, those three games, he's in the 40s and 50s. 60 is average in run blocking. So he's got to do better there. And it doesn't matter like whether it's a zone scheme or a gap scheme, he's not getting the job done. But he's never really been that great. Last year he was good at a 70.5 on the year, but in 2021 he was a 56.5. So really need those tight ends. G. Scott as well when we're running 12 personnel. He's got to be better. So G's really bad, I'm pretty sure. Let me find him. Yeah. Yeah, he's really bad. He's down in the fucking 30s, 40s, 50s. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, if G's our number two tight end, he's got to have his best game in run blocking. Really need that. Odysseus says perimeter blocking by the wide receivers needs to be its best. Yeah. You know you're going to get that from Fleming. Fleming is a lock to make his block. And that's a rhyme I just made up. But everybody else is, you're not going to get consistency. Pam says, not sure if it means anything, but Josh Pate is picking us to win. I saw that. I think the college football nerds did too. I think they picked us. I didn't see Klatt's. I didn't listen to Klatt's show yet. I'm kind of out on Joel Klatt. He's kind of seems to have taken Michigan's side in this whole cheating scandal. Even with the mountain of evidence, he's still, repeating their same freaking taglines like due process, Dude, come on. Klatt. He knows his football, but I don't agree with all of his opinions. He's got some dumb fucking opinions sometimes. You notice the more I drink of this shot, the more I cuss. Why is that? Weird. Anybody else pick Ohio State? I think who else? Somebody picked Michigan. It's another podcast. I forget what it was. But I don't like it when all these shows start picking Ohio State. That makes me nervous. I like it when they're all wrong. I like it when Corso's wrong. Everybody, just take the other team, please. Leave us alone. What matters most to me though is when Vegas makes us a dog. 3.5 point dog. I think it's down to 3 now. Last I checked. But I really don't. After watching this Michigan Maryland game, I watched it a couple times. JJ is concerning if I'm a Michigan fan. And their third down efficiency, they were only 4 of 13 on third downs. That's pathetic, man. Fourth downs, they did convert 3 of 3, but you're getting into fourth down 3 times against Maryland? Seriously? And Maryland was playing good D. JJ had that horrific interception down at the goal line. They thought they were putting Maryland away. But Maryland, Talia give and Talia taketh. Makes dumb decisions a lot. And plus Maryland had a lot of penalties. They had 6, 3 turnovers altogether, all by Talia, plus the 2 safeties, but if I'm a Michigan fan, I'm a little concerned about Michigan's performance, especially allowing Maryland to come back and make it a 1-score game, right? And needing 2 safeties to lock it up. Yakov says if there were already a 12-team playoff era, this game would only be for seeding them. And we would be playing them next week in the Big Ten championship. Yep. Badass Buckeye says the game will be a toss-up. I wouldn't bet my mortgage on it. Okay. Odysseus says, imagine having to play the cheaters 3 times in a season. I know. Does that ruin the rivalry for you guys if we have to play them 2 weeks in a row and then maybe a third time in the playoffs a month later? That doesn't sound good. Pam says that they're saying JJ's feeling great now. Yeah. He didn't look great. Odysseus, I got no problem with Kyle Honda McCord showing up steady. He doesn't need to make all the plays. Just deliver the ball to the playmakers. Don't make those dumb mistakes, right? I mean, we have all the weapons you need on offense. Marv, Emeka, Cade, Trey in the passing game even. And toss in Fleming, if everybody else is locked up, Fleming can make plays. So he came up big against Georgia last year in the Peach Bowl. So there's so many weapons. You just got to get the ball to them. It's real simple. And you can't have those bonehead penalties, the groundings, the delay of games, shit like that, you know. And I think the O-line has to have their best game of the season. I mean, they've been steadily improving, you know, just inching along, up. And this has to be their best game. You have to continue that incline. Odysseus, yeah, just can't be Yugo. No. Remember the Yugos? Those are pretty sweet. Talk about a subcompact. That was like a subcompact car. I remember you could rent those at the car rental places. Who the hell is going to buy that or rent that death trap? Pam says, did you see the latest scandal they're starting about selling all this milk? Not sure what the whole story consists of, though. We should be able to just sue them for slander. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff. Again, the weirdness. They're fans. They like, is it in the water up there or something? Is that Flint water trickling down into Ann Arbor? I got to get Sean on that. Check on the quality of the water up there. I'm very concerned for their people. It's warping their brains. Big Dell from the O. What's up, Big Dell? I-O to you, sir. Welcome to the show. It's lovely to have you. Please hit the like button on your way through the door. Thank you. We'll go for a couple more minutes. I'm sure there's some stuffing that needs stuffed or a turkey that needs dressed. What does a turkey wear exactly, by the way, if you're dressing it up? Just asking for a friend. Okay, JJ, I see that. Or Steve, I see, Steve says, I see Jack, JT handling JJ and Sonny taking care of the Hobbit. They have nothing else. I agree. You're going to need Sonny to come up and run support. Jack and JT, we talked about it the other day. They got to rush the quarterback without getting too far upfield, you know, where you're blowing by the quarterback like a maniac. You got to rush, keep an eye on the quarterback so you're not opening up these huge lanes, you know, between the guard and tackle. You got to rush and kind of push those tackles towards JJ back into his lap, ideally, and make sure that he doesn't have these huge running lanes. We'll see if he's 100% early on, how mobile he's going to be, you know. But I agree. Jack and JT, they can keep JJ in the pocket, maybe collapse the pocket occasionally, get some sacks. JJ's arm is not going to beat us. Odysseus says, whatever Harbaugh wears. I like it, Big Dell. Kyle will put his best foot forward, Big Dell says, on Saturday. Odysseus is how a turkey dressed. Yeah, exactly. Whatever Harbaugh wears. I'm fresh out of khakis, so I can't really put that on the turkey. Oh, wow. A great point. Yakov. Former Michigan linebacker coach Chris Partridge did not receive due process. Sounds like he was just shown the door. And don't forget, our guy Stallions, go back to one of those text messages somehow. I don't know if it's Pete Thamel or Ross Dellinger got a hold of a text message that Stallion sent to one of his buddies. He said that he is close with CP, meaning Chris Partridge, and Jay Harbs. So if he's close with those two, Jay Harbs knows about the sign stealing. If Jim Harbaugh doesn't know, then he's flat out lying. Because if his son knows, he has to know, right? I mean, this seems pretty obvious. Yeah. Steve says the front four is going to eat also. Yes. Tyleek is going to be super hungry, man. He's going to be rubbing that belly, licking his lips. Yeah, Big Dell, I don't think they can handle Marv either. It's going to take two dudes all day. Pam says hopefully they haven't been burning the ball these last couple of games. They've not been running the ball these last couple of games to throw us off thinking they're not going to throw the ball when they throw all over us. I dare them to, Pam. I dare them to throw all over us. Try it. Try it. JJ can't sit back there for 3, 4, 5 seconds and not feel the heat, you know. And I like our secondary, whether it's covering their tight end, corners. I like our secondary. Got Proctor over the top, covering the deep balls. So, yeah. But, all right, folks. 5:30. It's 5:30 somewhere, and that is the East Coast of the United States. So I'm going to get out, go dress a turkey, pour another shot, and then pour another shot after that, and maybe another shot after that. But I appreciate everybody popping in. Hey, please do me a favor, hit that like button. And if you want to jump in the Squares pool, the Squares board for the game, send $10. All the payment stuff and all the details about the board are right below the video in the description. All right. Podcast listeners, same thing. All right. Talk to you later. Go Bucks.